it's me, Ciscoe Morris, and here's what's coming up on Gardening with Ciscoe. You've seen him on our show. Now we'll tell you a bit more about him. Hendrikus Schraven shares his history and his organic approach to landscaping. We're using garden ingredients to dye eggs, and we're recycling winter containers, and discovering a plant pick with a really odd name. All this and more right now on Gardening with Ciscoe. Hi, I'm Ciscoe Morris.
And I'm Megan Black. Welcome to Gardening with Ciscoe from the W.W. Seymour Conservatory in Tacoma here at Wright Park. Man, is it great to be here in this spring weather with some beautiful flowers.
Yeah, but hey, you want to really feel spring coming on? Then tear apart those old winter containers full of spent flowers. It'll give you a whole new lease on life.
Planted this pot, I remember, and it had a lot of perennials so that we could then take them out and save them.
That's right. It looked great all winter. It was so beautiful out here. But now I want to plant a new display here, you know.
Except the problem is they've grown there. How the heck do you get them out?
It's not going to be that easy.
Well, I don't know. You want this?
Oh, good.
Guess what?
Okay, that came, well.
He was never planted very well.
Okay. Well, get my little artwork
this
out
little guy
here.
never knew he was in here.
I love this tool. It's called a Scoop It.
Yeah, it's almost ice cream
or something.
You get a good chunk of ice cream with that puppy.
So let's see if we can get this hellebore. Yeah, get that pansy out of the way.
Because you're toast.
Yeah, he's toast. But there now, if you can work your way all around that guy, see? How's that working, Megan?
It's not.
Oh, here, try this. This hoary knife. I think I got this guy. There we go. Oh, look at the roots on that. See, I'll be able to move this anywhere I want.
Oh, look at this beauty. I love him.
This is that hellebore you turned me on to. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's so beautiful. Yeah. So this will go in a prized place in the garden.
Are you sure you want to keep that?
Oh, la.
Doesn't hurt to ask, does it?
Okay, so
we have a Monterey cypress, and then this is a holly, a true holly?
Yeah, Gold Coast holly. I love that holly. So beautiful.
You know what's really funny?
Oh, good, you got that out.
It still has the shape of its pot. We
really
didn't do a great job,
did we? It hardly even grow. It just sat there all winter.
Aren't you supposed to break up those weeds?
No. Hey, Megan, maybe we'll leave that in there.
Okay.
We'll too late for that. But because I might just use this for the centerpiece again.
I'm sorry, I don't even care. Lemon Pledge.
The Lemon Pledge queen here.
I love Lemon Pledge.
I gotta get you away from this thing.
So we're gonna go, we probably need to break up the roots of this baby before we plant him.
You're right. And then
where do we want to put him?
We're gonna stick him over here in a really special spot in my garden.
Okay, I'm gonna start working on this puppy here because he needs help.
Yeah, boy, do you believe that
he did so well?
Yeah, and I'm surprised because I thought we gave those roots a workover, but that shows how much you have to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it shows what happens. I mean, this baby, he just wouldn't have performed really, really well.
This is where I have my big blue melianthus that's still dormant right now, Megan, but...
Oh, I love that.
Boy, is this going to look good with that yellow and that blue. Man, oh man. Okay, I think I about got her. How's that?
Perfect.
Oh,
absolutely
good.
Perfect.
Oh, here, let me take a look. I think we're going to turn it around.
Okay. There, being in a pot, he doesn't really have that great of a good side.
That looks good.
Is that better?
Yeah, because I figure everybody will see it from this direction, Wow. Oh, is this going to be a neat plant for here? Loves full sun, bacon, hot sun.
How big is he going to get?
Well, I think they can get over 6 feet tall, but I can't let it get that tall, so I'm going to do some creative pruning. I'll be inviting you back this summer.
I was going to say, stay tuned. There's more to come on this holly. So I think I'm going to go get a hellebore. I'll see you later.
Oh, la la. No, you're not, Megan.
Another frugal gardening tip, take some plants that are in your garden that maybe you want to move anyway, stick them in your pots, you don't have to go buy new plants.
Hey, yeah, daffodils would look perfect.
Nice idea.
Hey, let's go see how it looks in the conservatory.
Coming up next.
How this organic landscaping guru got his start. Welcome back to Gardening with Ciscoe. Now, we thought it was time we told you a little bit more about our friend Hendrikus Schraven. You know, he's done landscapes for famous people like Ben Stiller and Bill Gates, yet he uses an old school organic approach that turns landscapes into beautiful paradises.
Hendrikus Schraven creates landscapes that look like Mother Nature was simply doing her work.
I look at it this way. If I ask people, you know, have you gone up to Mount Rainier, looked at the wildflower meadows? I say, do you like those? And everybody goes, oh yeah, it's so beautiful. So how come that you don't have them in your own yard then? And nature creates all these incredible beauties. So what we do, like for instance in landscaping, is to bring that life back in a fast process.
The basis for all this natural beauty is organic. Hendrikus uses this approach because it's better for the land and the people on it.
The whole planet is a living thing and lives, it breathes, it gives us water. And so I always look at our planet like a filter. The soil is like a filter. So whatever you put in it has to go somewhere. So we have a saying, it's like no clean water, no clean soil, no clean soil, no clean water.
Hendrikus grew up on an organic farm in Holland, then made his way to Seattle and became a landscaper. But there was a problem.
What happened here was that I couldn't find any good soil. I couldn't find anything to fertilize with except chemicals. We want to keep this open and prune it from the inside out so it doesn't become like a hedge.
He solved the problem with a characteristic do-it-yourself approach.
So that's how we started making our own organic fertilizer, because I would go to feed and seed stores that had stuff for horses and rabbits and chickens, and then I would mix it all in my brother's garage with a cement mixer, then put it in a trough, and then we would bag it in burlap bags that I would get from the guys from Starbucks.
From that simple start, his business put down deep roots.
We do full-on landscaping, so everything inclusive, from irrigation, lighting, to all the structures, woodwork, concrete work, stonework, fake rocks, all the planting, all the engineering part on drainage systems. Then we also have all our products, like the fertilizers, the soil amendments that we then sell. We also have a program where we come and rejuvenate people's gardens. Then we have the whole compost tea, which is actually all part of that, to spray beneficial microorganisms. What we do basically is we take everything from the incredibly heavy-duty construction with gigantic excavators, which I run and a couple of other people in my company operate. And then we bring it all the way down to where we plant the last piece of moss between a crack and a rock. So that's a wide scope of things.
Today, this isn't just a business for Hendrikus Schraven, it's a way of life he obviously savors. He'd say that it's just the garden doing what it's designed to do.
So if you walk into a garden, your whole being has to be lifted up. It has to go, ah. It has to. So what I always say, is like, if you spend a couple of hours in one of our gardens, you won't go and rob a 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? It won't dawn on you anymore. So if we can create more of this feeling, there is less violence, there is less of everything, there is more of a communication with nature again, which I think mankind was meant to be.
It is so great that more and more people are embracing organic methods. And Hendrikus Schraven offers organic soil building products and organic landscaping services. We'll put information about all that on our website. Up next,
A fun way to dye eggs using natural materials.
welcome back to Gardening with Ciscoe from the W.W. Seymour Conservatory in Tacoma. Megan, do you dye Easter eggs?
I have a kindergartner. I think it's required, isn't it?
I think it is. Well, then you want to see how Lynn Villa does it. She makes the dyes out of veggies and spices.
Of course she does.
Okay, Lynn, I confess to being a wee bit confused here.
Yeah, why is that?
We've got all these beautiful eggs, and we've
yeah.
got a bunch of onion
I
stock
know.
cooking here. What's going on?
You know, I decided to do some naturally dyed Easter eggs because it's that season and it's pretty fun. And there's a lot of different, dyes that you can make, but this one is, I think, the richest and deepest and also probably the simplest. And it starts with, believe it or not, just yellow onions.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
What, not a red onion?
No, not actually red onions. When you cook them, turn this weird gray color. So be sure to use the yellow onions. Yep.
All right.
And then what I did, I just skinned them and put them in a pot with some water. They cook about an hour. And then you'll be amazed. We're going to strain this out.
Ooh, it smells kind of good.
I know. Well, they turn this deep, gorgeous magenta red color.
I can't believe it. Natural dyes for Easter
Yeah,
eggs.
I
I've
know.
never even heard of this before.
And then, of course, we're going to make our dye bath, and then we're going to even take it one step further and do something fun.
How come I'm
wanna-
not surprised?
Yeah, I knew you were coming. I was prepared. So what you're going to do then is just press these down, get all that beautiful, deep
Ooh, it's a
red
red
dye out of
color,
there.
I'll
Yeah,
tell ya.
it's amazing. So let's see, raw eggs, and then we've got some cheesecloth, and then some foliage, right? This could be herbs. This is actually from a ranunculus flower.
It is?
Yeah, isn't that
Wow.
pretty?
Hey, it looks pretty cool. So,
So-
you're going to make a design on
Exactly.
it.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a relief on the egg with a piece of greenery. You could use an ivy leaf or a rose leaf or a flower or whatever you like.
A Brussels sprout leaf? Oh, la la.
A cross section of a Brussels sprout. All right. So what you're going to do then is lay it on your cheesecloth and then set the egg on top of that. And then you're just going to bring your cheesecloth up and around. And while all you're trying to do is just secure the design against the surface of the egg.
yeah.
And you want to pull it kind of tightly because you want that, you want that leaf to be pressed closely to the surface of the egg. Like I said, these are raw eggs, and the reason we do that is because by actually poaching the raw egg in the dye bath, it gets a much deeper and beautiful color.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, we secured that, okay, like that.
Yeah.
And then you just do a few more with whatever designs you want, and then we're going to just drop these in a simmering egg bath. And I thought it would be fun too. We'll do some with a design, and then we'll also do some just regular. And I'll show you how pretty they look just without just dyed
cool.
like this.
Great.
Okay. So we'll
Yeah.
cook these in our dye bath.
How do you know how long to leave them in?
We're actually going to officially cook these all the way through. Why don't we go ahead and put those in?
Okay, this way I know I won't break them.
Great.
Okay, in you go,
Yeah,
little
because we
guy.
want them to be pretty well immersed in that bath. So by putting a few extra eggs in, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to let them go for about 10 minutes, see how rich our color is. We might go another 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
At least 10.
And within 10 minutes, they're hard-boiled eggs.
They
We
are,
don't have to
exactly,
worry about
exactly.
that.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So we'll let those simmer.
I can't wait to see what they're gonna look like.
So I've let these cool a little bit. Now you can, just take them out and set them aside and let them cool off. Isn't that color just
That's
gorgeous?
one of the ones I did. Je suis un artiste.
Yes, you are, my dear.
Wow.
And then we'll pull one of these out too. Now you can let these cool a little bit longer, but
look at
they're going to be okay right now. So we're going to cut this little back off here, and then we're just going
boy.
to unwrap our cheesecloth, and then just pull that little leaf off of there.
Oh, look at
Isn't that gorgeous?
It looks like moose antlers.
Moose antlers. I love it when you're literal like that, Ciscoe. But so that, you can see
Ooh,
why it was important to really wrap that cheesecloth tightly so that.
Yeah, that
and you
is
can
so
see,
beautiful.
look at the color difference. With the cheesecloth, they're a little bit paler in color, but they're just still gorgeous. We'll let those cool, brush them with a little bit of oil, to make them glossy, and you've got
Well, you know,
La
it's
pièce de
amazing
résistance.
because I thought this was going to be a really complicated process.
fun?
Oh, man, I could see doing this with kids. Wow. This ended up so much easier than I expected.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it
Three
wasn't
ingredients.
complicated.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Sabat, I'll bet you bought a kit
Oh.
because look at all those other colors.
Silly. No. Okay, today is naturally dyed Easter eggs, so let me show you. This is so fun. All right, so turmeric, beets. There's our onion skins, and this is blueberry. Isn't that
Look at
gorgeous?
The blueberries
I
got
know.
all kinds of color in it.
You know, the key to this is if you don't strain the blueberries out, you just puree them really finely, the skins, it kind of stain the surface and give you like a little mottled
It looks
egg.
like a robin
I know,
egg.
Isn't that fun? So just, it's the garden and it's spring
Oh,
and it's
man,
time.
Kids will love doing
Yeah,
this
this'll be fun.
so much. But hey, what do I get to eat? I always get to sample something at the end of the show.
Speaking of kids, dude, check this out.
Oh, peeps!
All
Oh, I
natural
love-
peeps.
Natural
Well,
peeps.
welcome
Oh,
to
la,
PCC.
la. Hey, all right.
Go for it.
A health food peep. You know, I always feel so guilty when I bite their heads off. Ah. I love these things.
Happy Easter, sister.
Peeps are- oh, la, la.
Holy cow, that looked like a lot of fun.
I haven't had that much fun since harvesting my Brussels sprouts last fall, you know. I thought my egg dyeing days were over, but boy, it was great.
Brought out the kid in you.
Yeah, that's right. You want a recipe for that? Just go to king5.com. We'll have it on our website. Coming up next, celery pine. We'll tell you what the heck it is on our next Plant Pick segment.
Welcome back to Gardening with Ciscoe from the W.W. Seymour Conservatory here at Wright Park in Tacoma. We're going to show you all around this place and tell you about it in just a minute. But first, it's time for our plant pick.
And this one's worth buying just for the name alone.
A celery pine. He just grabbed my attention. Look at these little red cones, little pine cone things that they have
so
in spring.
cool. It's an actual conifer.
Yeah.
And I've seen these down grown in New Zealand, down on the South Island down there. But the ones I saw were 60 feet tall.
Well, they told me 8 feet.
They
But
think-
again,
well, you know, maybe here in our climate and everything, maybe they don't get so
speaking of
tall.
climate, you say I might not be so lucky with
Yeah,
this
you know,
celery pine.
it's hard for me to believe this tree is really hardy here, but you know, it'll make a really cool annual if nothing else. Boy, it's so different looking.
Isn't it
though?
though? He just grabbed my attention, and I thought, gotta try these things.
Well, you know what makes a garden interesting is a lot of contrast, and you've got some texture there that is just
Unusual.
unusual. The leaning tower of celery pine there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, try to get that side. There you go. That's
that
much
better?
better. If that ever gets that big, it's going to be a miracle anyway.
Chances are I'll be old as well.
You're
Older.
not kidding. Yes.
So celery pine.
Celery
you know
pine.
what? We'll report back, see if it lives through
That's
next
it.
winter, and if it
We'll
doesn't,
let you know.
we'll let you know.
You know, and that's what's fun about
I
gardening,
love
though.
that,
Trying
yeah.
new things, and you did one up me with this guy.
Yay!
I really
Doesn't
like this.
It doesn't happen often. So does he need to be staked, or is he okay?
I think he'll be all right.
Okay.
But you can see, you know, if it starts to lean over, the one
Right.
thing in a heavy snowstorm, it might bend all the way
Well,
over. It's
let's-
so flexible. Look at this thing.
Let's just
Wow.
hope right now that we're not
That's
in
right.
for a
Live for
heavy
the moment. That's-
snowstorm at this time of year.
So celery pine is one of those rare plants. You don't always see it, but it might just show up at your local nursery. If you see it, snag it. You'll be glad you did.
Right out of the palm of your hands, I will. Well, here at the Conservatory, it's a wonderful place to come visit on a cold, wet, wintry day. But in springtime, it's also so beautiful with all those spring flowers in full bloom. I love it. It's more than a century old, and it is still one of Tacoma's greatest treasures. Tired of gloomy weather, but no time for a tropical vacation? Here's a getaway that costs no more than a Goodwill donation. Tacoma's W.W. Seymour Botanical Conservatory opened in 1908 and is named for its founder, Tacoma timber baron and politician William W. Seymour. One of the only 3 Victorian glass conservatories left on the West Coast, it features a 12-sided central dome and 3,500 panes of glass. Plants on permanent display here range from this ponderosa lemon to this sago palm, which is older than the building. And everyone from orchid lovers to carnivorous plant fans will find a favorite among the collection. So the next time you need a tropical break from the winter weather, you don't need to go any further than Tacoma.
So here's another cool thing about the conservatory. You show up the second Sunday of every month all year round, you get a free concert, 1 to 2:30, jazz, classical, you name it. How fun is that?
Cool. Well, the conservatory is open Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 4:30. But get this, Megan, you can rent this place and have a wedding or throw a party. Oh, la la, would that be fun having a big honking party in here? Oh, boy.
If you'd like more information, just head off to our website, king5.com, click on Gardening with Cisco.
So head down to Tacoma and visit a mini paradise. Oh, la la.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good weekend.